many of you know what the spirit of Kaloko is about? Oh, there's some of you, yeah. But you guys look like National Park Service workers. What about us Kanakas? How many of you know? What is the spirit of Kaloko about? Not too much, yeah. Yeah, Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred was one of the guys that drafted this, and I see Kaliko Chan here. Her father was part of it. But later on today, we'll be having the parks interpreter, chief interpreter Ray Godin. We'll be starting the presentation with Uncle Fred Kachola regarding the Kaloko Honokohao. Okay, so now the good stuff. We're going to get started rolling here. I'd like to call upon Auntie Cynthia Nazara to share some of her ohana, remembering when. Yeah. Give a round of applause for Cynthia.
Aloha. I just saw my auntie over there, my uncle over here, and so many familiar faces, and my cousins here. Just filled with so much aloha for them. And I never realized that how much I would miss this place. I went away for 3 years prior to this, and then now I'm back. So I'm the daughter of Malaya, Agnes Kiana Aina. And my mom used to share a lot of stories with us, and this is just my story from my mom. You know, my mom would tell me stories of how she would walk from Kalawa down to Kaloko, and I said, like walk on your feet, just walk. And she said, yes. I said, no jeep, no. I said, no, just walk. And I said, oh, okay. And she said they would have fun. I said, walking? She said, yes. Picking guava, picking mango, coming down to the house. They had a beach house where the lua is now by Kaloko. And she'd tell us stories. They would come down, stay down, and with the fish, with Uncle Alec, Uncle Wilama, Uncle Boy. And there was so much activity, and the stories that she told me was like, they were always happy, you know. There was like no stress, and I'm like, no stress. And yes, we were happy. We were happy to go down and happy to go back. And she would say early in the mornings they would get up just as the sun was coming up, and they would go in the front, and in the pond over there was ohua. And I said, you folks used to have that? She said, yes. And what you do, you dry and eat. And so many stories of that she told us, telling us the story of the songs that the boys down here make, the Kaloko Blonde, that story, and the Mo'o Wahine. And I said, the what? And she said, the Mo'o Wahine in Kaloko. And I said, oh, and what? And she said, Tutu Malaya used to feed her. And I said, feed her what? And she said, feed her the hala, you know, the fruit from the puhala. And I said, and what happened? And she said, well, when she became, in her own way, a Christian, she stopped that and she went oki that. I said, why? And she said, because in her heart, Tutumalaya knew that they wouldn't be able to carry on that tradition of going there, feeding the mo'owahine. And I said, oh, is that a real thing? She said, she never saw, but she believed Tutumalaya's story. But there are many stories of how, you know, Tutuman would go with the canoe, and while they were in there, once in a while she could go because they weren't allowed in the pond, the wahines, and they would try to tip her over. And I said, so how you supposed to catch the fish? And she said, well, they would go in the canoe and then they would lay the net. I said, oh, lay net, not hook. She said, no, it's net. And right where there's a place, the first Makaha, but back here and up Mocha side, there was a net house. And one day we were sitting down, and then she gave me this picture. And I was sitting there and I said, what is that? And she said, that's the net house. And I said, you drew that net house? And she said, yes. And it's so nice. And so I was talking to Rick, and I said, you know, Rick, it was in my heart. And I said, oh, I'll give him. So I made a copy of that and I gave it to him, for him. And then, you know, down the road, I talked to Iana or Ray that we're going to someday share that picture of how it looked back then. And anyway, there were so many great stories there. The excitement, the children playing it. I just imagine all my uncles and aunties and playing down there, just having fun, and just, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't hard work. It was fun. And so I pictured that, you know, you picture yourself and see all these kamali'i playing, running around. We don't see that now. Yeah, we're in a high-tech world. Everybody doesn't talk to each other. You know, like they live Mauka, and they would talk. They would sit down, they would actually eat dinner together, even if it was just dry opai and poi. And that was it. That was dinner. And everybody was so happy, and they talked. They knew what each other felt like, what they were doing today, tomorrow. Now it's like everybody's sitting at the table and or at the restaurant, and everybody's on their iPhone. Nobody talking. So at our house now, I'm staying with my daughter for now, we're like, okay, it's Ohana time. And when they hear that word, everybody has to take their phone, computer, whatever electronic gadget they have, and put it in a basket. They have to leave it over there for half an hour. And then my mo'opuna came back from Oahu, and he said, I don't like this game. I said, it's not a game. It's not a game. It's something that, you know, you first have to learn. You know what your mother's going to do tonight? No. Do you know where your brother is? No. That's why that thing has to go in there. And we do it twice a day. We can only do it twice a day, you know, to be fair to this kamali'is now. But, you know, we can talk, we can yell at each other or do anything. But now, you know, when I think about all those things, and when I come down to Kaloko and I think about those things, I think, wow, what can I do now to contribute to that, to bring back those times, those memories to the generation now? Because our generation are so high tech. I went college, I went this, I went that, I know better than you. No, you don't. You don't know better than, because there's so much value, simple value from our kupuna that we need to learn, you know, they used to say, oh, that's why we get 2 years and only 1 month. Yeah, you know, speak when you're spoken to. Now kids they tell their parents in the store, I don't want that, I don't eat that, you know. But now, whose fault is that? It's our fault, because we let that go on. And they say, well, you know, times are changing. Yeah, clothes change. Everything change here, everything. But our values should never change. And so, when I heard about this Nahoapili group down here, I was like very moved. And I said, oh. So I told my cousin Ruby, so what? She said, oh, we go. So we went. So I got nominated, and we got to be in this group called Makaniho, and it was so fulfilling to be a part of something that's growing, you know, from Uncle Mauna Roy and his efforts and everything that he's doing. And all the different stories from all the different ohana here is so exciting. And so you hear those stories and just hang on to those stories and just embrace those stories, because every family that lived here has a story. And whether you cannot say, well, I don't remember that, but that's all right. Just embrace the story that you heard, because even all the way down to Kalaimano, we hear different stories from different ohana. So all we hear now is we should all learn to embrace it, love each other, and just go forward. Oh, imua. And so I want to say today that I love all of you, and God bless you all.
A couple of our aunties from the Kanaka Maikai family and Nahalea family, if you guys can come forward and share some of your guys' ohana stories from Honokohau, please. And as they make their way up, give them a round of applause. Share some aloha with these guys. We're all family, right?
I know mom and grandaunt kind of shame. Can bring the 2 chairs? Yeah. Okay. This is my grandaunt, Danny Koka. My mom, Mabel Cooley Augustine Pai.
Aloha, everybody. Aloha. I go back all the way in 1920s. My ohana, my parents were fishermen down this area. I was born up at Teopu, but because my parents were here doing fishing, they were raised down here. In 4 months, I'll be 90. 1924, and this is my stomping ground, all the way from Kelikehe side. We didn't have that harbor. It was Kelikehe, all the way down Kaloko, Kohonaiki, all the way down there. And when I think of this place, you know, my brothers and my sisters, my siblings, the younger ones, Kailani's dad is my brother. He was born here with his 2 sisters. In the back over here, you see a rock wall in the back over here. Above that rock wall was our house. They had 2 homes here, 1924 and 1920s. We were fishing family. But in the meantime, I grew up actually with a family. And the Kenaina family. I know Auntie Rose and Williama. I grew up with them. They are my gang. Most of your family, Rose and Williama, I grew up with them. And the Kaili Whites. But they're all not here anymore. I stand alone. I feel I'm lonely. And your dad, and Roy, and my husband, they were classmates in the 1940s. Okay, so I am ancient here. I am ancient. I hear everybody talk, well, that's fine. But my life in the 20s, it was rough, but we learned a lot. We can live without anything. Today, I feel if you go back without having anything, I don't know where you folks will survive, but I know I will survive. And then right here in Pelican, we're the only family who lived here in Honoka'a before nobody. Pelican family, that's your dad, that's your uncle, your grandparents, his grandparents. The grandmother is my maid of honor when I got married. So you can imagine that? 1947. Okay, so I have a lot of love for this area. For what it is today, it's okay, because we cannot stop progress. But like I say, life here was fishing. We do trading. What we do down here, like you know that you national park people, when you look down that area where they have the flat pahoihoi rock, when it's flat rock, it's called pahoihoi. We use that area to dry our opelu. We kaha the opelu and dry, and we trade with the people who work up at the farm, coffee land. They bring their avocados, their taro, their ulu, and we trade with fish. That's how we made our living, fishing down here. And we walk. Kalamakuli family, I see you here, Agnes. Agnes, we go up with you with your family. She's there. Kalamakuli, please stand. One of our favorite people. I grew up with them, with their family. Where their house used to be, you know, where Taco Bell is, that 2-star brew house. That's the road beside their place that we used to come all the way walk down here to Honokohau. And the reason why we have to move away from Honokohau, because I had to go to school. So my parents went to see Mrs. Nakahara, who was the principal of Kailua School, said, well, let her come when she's 7 years old. Because who's going to walk me to school? When the kahakai is calm, my dad can take me by the canoe, but no boat poi. We're not going to make it. So I didn't go to school until I was 7. How? Uncle Kanamaikai, my uncle Kanamaikai Simeona, lives up Mauka. Mauka Honokohau and Makai Honokohau. So my parents asked me to live with them to go to school, and they entered me in Honoko House School. But as I grew, when I was going to the 3rd grade, my mom wasn't happy that only weekends I'm home, but school days I'm up with them. So what we had to do, move away to Makaeo. And still, Makaeo, we have to walk to school. And you know what Kailua School used to be? Where our library is. And from Makaeo, we walk. Everything is walk. Or with donkey, everything. No kaa. And this family, we grew up together just like brothers and sisters. We walked to school together. Their parents fished with my dad and my family. We did that. Fishing was our life. Over here, and my mom, she wear the kind. My mom is Nahalea Pai. She wear long mumu. When the high tide come over and we get kaheka full of owama or full of in a small manini, you call it. What she take her skirt and she go down and we bring in before the rice come in rice bag, 2 bags, one thin and one thick. So the thick one we use for sheet and use for anything to halii. We halii on the stand or on a papa and dry our fish like that. And we bring salt and we salt them. We do that. And that's the kind of fishing my mom do. And my mom, her business is she weave lauhala. And the thing is today, when you say the hat is so expensive, but if you know how to really work with it, you appreciate it is. So when we want to buy material for our clothing, 1 hat for 1 yard of material. And how much is 1 hat today? You will get oodles of material. Those were the days we lived. So over here we have to pack water, or my dad make kind. We have a big pakini, or we put flume in it. When rain, we do that because that's our water to drink. And they always say, "Oh, no good. There's iron in the pot." But we live. I'm only 19. It's okay. Yeah, and then to think about this, something funny. When my dad had some kind of he built a tank, and he put the pakini flume in there. We didn't know. One day we just drink water from that, and we look at a dead rat in it. So today, when they use for specimen to treat illness, what do they use? Rat? So it makes sense. The olden days come back into view for modern science. We know what hard time is. We know what hard time. But then we don't regret. We learn. And when I see today everybody all modern, you have all the technique, high tech, everybody is geared to electronics. Well, it's good to learn the past, and I'm glad I'm living in your world, but you don't know my world. So that's not it. So I appreciate that you want us to come here and talk, and appreciate our national park people, what you're doing, progress gonna come into view. And even though we pray that we would like to stay here, but like I said, we cannot stop progress. So we live and accept the pain that we know we cannot live here. We learn to accept the pain of that, because my family, our sweat and our energy and our aloha is this aina right here, So it's okay. We pray that the only thing we ask is when we want to come down here, Kahakai, it's open to us. We're not going to say anything, but we thank God that you folks are taking care of this aina. And you know, I'm telling you about the sand. When we were down here, we were heaping pile of sand. But look, the sand, you can't see it because you see all those bushes there, was all in the back. And we believe, my mama believed that the sand got to complement the ocean by opening it up so they can be bright and clean. And all the debris from all that pollute the sand, just like how people pollute the ocean. So the sand is the same way. So that's why when I walk here, I see the sand, I can hardly see the sand because all this is supposed to be in the back. But that's today's world, who am I to say? But we still love everybody no matter what happens. So anyway, thank you for letting me speak.
Aloha everybody. Aloha. My name is Mabel. Aloha. Augustine Pai. I actually come from Waipio. Waipio is where my family come from. So from the Loi farm to the fishing farm when I met my husband. So back in the days in the late 40s, I stayed with my auntie Uncle Haumoka and Uncle Kanaka Maikai, and I used to come with him. Before the harbor ever came up, it was just lava all the way. So I walked from Kailua all the way to Honokohau. Carry 2 5-gallon bucket on my shoulder, like one Chinaman. Never had no car, never had no road, so I walked picking panini on the lava rock as I come in, because before I had a lot of cactus. So that's what we used to do, feed the pigs. He had a lot of pigs here. So I get 2 5-gallon bucket with a long stick coming over from Kailua, where Firestone is now. At the end of the fence used to be the Akal family. I used to walk from there. Halfway on the lava rock, I change. I move one side to the other side. By the time I get here, my arm all swollen already. But I never complained, because those were the days. And in the bucket would be our food and our clothing. When his canoe would be working, we would ride the canoe come over. And what he had here was pigs. So I used to help him feed the pigs. And in the canoe used to be all pig slop. So when the water come up rough, everything would splash up. By the time I get here, I'm smelling like pig slop. But no complaint. And what I would get for pay was 25 cents for the whole week. I get 5 cents every day for my lunch. That's what I had. And I thought that was great compared to now. Okay? And then I lived with them. There was no gate here before. His house was up on a papa where the door is right now. And that's where I used to stay. And our bed was all the net that he had. We sleep on top of the net with our family. But those were the net that he used to take out. I would stay home, he would go out, I would go out, go pillow fishing. When he come home, I better be ready to clean all those pillow. Cut, scale, clean, salt, dry. If I cannot get half of them done, not wrong, but whack. And I cannot say, are we? Because then I will get another one again. So I just had to do it with the tears in my eyes, just doing it. And then by the time the end of the day, I'm happy because I did it wrong. But there wasn't enough. The next day, after I soaked all that, next day, go in the water, wash every one of them. Then the eel would come up on the side. And you know, I was so scared of the eel, small kind and all. But there was no choice. Clean all that fish, dry them up all onto the screen box, and watch that. Go get tea leaf or whatever leaf and just whack that so that the flies don't get in. They never had screen to cover, but screen underneath of the fish. But that's the life that I used to live down here. And then when it was time to cook, I get small pot rice, go in the water, wash the rice with the salt water, and that's what we used to eat. When the tide would go down, all the brackish water would come up. All along the side would get brackish water. That's what I get. And put inside our pot, boil them, so that the water would get better, then you don't taste too much of the salt. But I did that every day for I don't know how many years I was doing that. And finally I met my husband, another fisherman. That's why I came from the Taro to the fishing. But Waipio was good because Taro, and you live in that valley. When you look up, it's like living in a bowl. And it's just all clean. So when I came here, I thought, wow, I was happy because that was different. But then I ended up in the water again. So I lived that life, and I guess because we never complained the hard work that we did, Well, back there in Waipio, we never had no washing machine or nothing, so we used to soak our clothes in the river. The same water, we drink water in the river. And we used to get escargots, those snails, that we get in the water. Nighttime, we would go in the river and cook them. We would call it catfish. Yeah, we used to cook it with a fork, put in a basket, and then clean them up. And lagalu, put them in tea leaf and puleho, those things. Yeah, we never had spam, we had a sausage, we never had those things. What we had in Waipio was what we had. We were satisfied with poi. Nowadays, these kids, oh man, tell them this, you tell them that. I don't like this, I don't like that. Buy the shoes, oh, I don't like the shoes. What we had those days, we had shoes, alright, but our shoes, if you look underneath, was all big puka. But I thought was nice, so we still can wear. And we wear our sleeves inside of our dress, the sleeve too long, with tight string, pull up all our sleeves, and they look nice. We never had what they had these days now, you know, but we never complained. So the life I had in Waipio was no different from here, except there was no taro, and this was all fish. But we had a good life. So going back to the trail from Kailua to Honokuhau, oh, it was hot. And I used to get panini, the cactus, alongside the road, pick up. I reach here, had to skin them. They look like guava yapas, all the seeds. Skin them up, put them in a bag, throw them in the water for ice box. That was the coolest place. And we ate them. When my kids were small, I gave them guava. They tell me, wow, take all the seeds out. I take all the seeds out and you did nothing. That's how they were. But you know, I'm glad up until today, I'm almost 78. And I still live in the life. And I like it. You know, I still can do what I'm doing. As long as we can come back here anytime, I'm happy. So thank you, everybody.
Ooh, how about a round of applause for our two aunties over here? We learned some science with aunties wrapped in the tank, and then also refrigeration. That was awesome. Plenty learning. Mahalo. Mahalo for the kupuna wisdom. Okay, so the next person I want to introduce is my grandfather's brother, Uncle Joel Palakat. And he's gonna share some small kid time stories when they lived here at Honokuhau. They also lived at Kuanaiki and Kaloko. They live all over this place over here, all the way to Maka'eo. But yeah, Uncle came all the way from Honolulu. Actually Vegas, because I saw him on Facebook, Uncle. He won Blazing Sevens. Yee, chee-hoo. That's how we roll, right?
I'm 71 years old.
91. Oh, you deny all.
91. I mean 91 when I was in Vegas. I'm Mr. Joe Palakat, one of the 15 of the Palakat family. The family moved on to Kaloko, and then there's an old house there that's ready to fall apart. So my dad said, oh, he could fix it if we can live there, but somebody owns it. So we found out that the cowboys that come down from the Stillman Ranch own those areas, the Kaloko Pond, the wall, and all that area. So we said if we could stay in that house, he said, well, you can stay if you guys want to stay there, but it's all broken up. So my father was a carpenter in a plantation in Hamakua. He fixed it and we stayed there, Kaloko. We used to go on the wall there. And every time we go on the wall, we kind of get afraid because of the crabs. There was thousands of crabs there. You know the armor crabs? We are Kuainas from the main mountain. We didn't know that. When we sit on the wall, all the crabs would come with all the creatures, you know. And then we run away, and then my dad was, what's the matter? I said, there's a lot of spiders over there, you know.